Ooh, damn, already you can see some incredible texture work. Look at that. I can tell it's like future metal, but it's like worn down after loads of use. Whoa! Oh, wow. Hi everybody, it's 314 React here, and today we are looking at the 4.0 beta of the HD 4K textures. Now, we're on the website here. We have version 4 for Unreal Gold and version 3.5 for Unreal Tournament 99 as the latest release of these. Now, as you can see, there's some previews here that I believe are from 3.5. You can see the original textures here and the new textures here, original texture there, new texture here, original, new. So you can see the level of upgrade that these textures have had. And I was contacted the other week by one of the people that work on this called AHaigh01. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. And they gave me a link to the 4.0 beta of the Unreal Tournament 99 textures and asked if I would make a video on them. So this has apparently been quite a large rework of the textures from 3.5. So what we're going to do is we're going to dive into Unreal Tournament with the 4.0 beta textures and compare them to the 3.5 textures in another install that I have. Put a link in the description to this website here, and installing them is really easy. You just download the file, which is quite large because the textures are very high resolution. You drag the texture folder into the texture folder of your Unreal Tournament install and patch it to version 4.6.9, where the textures will work with, I believe, DirectX 9 and the OpenGL renderer that's included with the 4.6.9 patch. Again, all links will be in the description. Of course, not for this beta yet because it's not released yet. Let's dive in and check out some of these cool new textures. Alright, so here we are, and we're using OpenGL, which allows the S3TC textures. And let's start off with a classic. Let's go to Morpheus. And we've also got the UnrealHD installer here, which has HD skins for the weapons and armor and the characters. So that means everything is up to scratch. So let's jump in. And already you can see the floor here just looks insanely good. The metal here looks amazing. Yeah, it looks really detailed. It almost looks like there's parallax occlusion mapping on it, but there isn't, because that would require the DirectX 11 renderer, and we're not using that. So these textures look really good. I'm going to try and get a comparison window in the corner to look at some of these areas with the old textures. Look at this. Look at the detail. I wonder what they used to upscale these, because that is some really, really nice upscaling. While maintaining the original art style. You can zoom right in. Still quite a lot of detail there. Look at that. And that's with the ridiculous zoom of the sniper rifle. Absolutely amazing. Check out these other posters. Oh, look at that. So sharp. And you essentially can't see the texels unless you zoom in. Look at that. The little bumps on the surface look amazing. So good. And then these bits here are updated with the UT mutator. And even the skybox has had some improvements, I believe. Yeah, look at that. Phenomenal. Let's check out something a little bit different. Let's go to Agony. Oh, wow. Look at the dirt on the ground. Look how good that looks. And it almost looks like there's depth on the shaders. It just looks incredible. I mean, this just looks amazing. The brickwork. Oh man, that looks so good. And it doesn't look over sharp as well. There's a tendency in some texture mods and things like that to go over sharp. And that's when the textures all look wrong and they look really horrible. But this, they look really smooth And it looks like they've fixed up the bitmaps to be really nicely done. So it just looks flawless. Does not look like any oversharp. Doesn't lose the original aesthetic. Let's check out some Arcane Temple. Oh, look at that. Again, it looks like there's almost depth there. That's how good these textures look. Man. Now, I believe these textures will work with DirectX 11. Wow. So I believe you have the choice of using DirectX 9, DirectX 11, or XOpenGL. Or I think even the original OpenGL renderer will work with S3TC textures as well. You can see the UnrealHD skins updating the textures on the pickups and stuff. Just look at the wood texture. Just absolutely crazy. Oh, and these textures are really nice as well. These little gem bits. Ooh. Let's head outside. A little bit more brickwork. Oh, that's really nice. And the grass here as well. Look at that. God damn. Ooh. God, these textures look great. And then you got the amazing music and overall atmosphere of this level. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. So good. So let's check out another level. Let's check out Gothic. Now this has some really nice texture work on it. And that's even on default. Oh, look at the carpet there. Ooh. And again, more wood effects. Classic light coronas there. You can see why this overall download is about 8 gigabytes. Just so high res. And I believe it's been expanding on the work that was introduced in the S3TC textures that were on the disc of the Game of the Year edition. So it's just enhancing that work even further. Oh, look at that. Oh man, that looks amazing. Ooh. Little outside area there with the moon in the sky, clouds going over. Man. Alright, let's check out some Capture the Flag. See how face has been modified. Same dirt texture I think we've seen on a couple of the others. Look at that though. My god. Looks like photographs from like the moon or something. Or Mars. Oh, look at that texture on the Earth. It's just a shame that the Earth has obvious polygon edges. And it looks like there's a weird line going through it there. Looks like some seams of the textures, I think. Still looking great though. Again, you can just zoom so far in and it just looks great. Amazing brickwork there. Amazing detail there. Almost scarily good. Oh, on the floor here. Again, almost the illusion of depth there. Even at this distance, you can tell these textures look amazing. And part of the UnrealHD pack, the one that updates the weapons, models, and pickups, is there's an additional mutator that allows for randomized colors of the armor pickups, which is really cool. Whoa, that floor looks amazing. marble here. Look at that. Damn. It's like a Megadeth album cover. That is amazing. Interestingly, look how high resolution that is. Interestingly, the flag still seems to have the original textures on it, which is quite funny. What an amazing map. There you go, another one of the random armor colors. Amazing. Nice teal color. Oh, look at that. Oh, that's good. Just a slight issue that it looks like you can see the square of it kind of pasted in there. But other than that, that still looks amazing. I think even the textures on these have been upgraded. Let's check out Hall of Giants. Again, you can see the... Oh, look at that. Oh, real nice quality. Damn. See, that's not so high resolution. So maybe there still needs to be a bit of extra work on some points. I'm not sure. Even this is a nice texture though. Jump down, check the textures out down here. Feels like I'm getting some micro stutter or something with the XOpenGL render. I'm not sure why. Ooh. In fact, let's have a look at how much VRAM we're using. GPU memory usage, just under 3 GB of memory usage on the GPU. That's not bad. Of course, while they are really high res, they're less memory being taken up by other things, so it's not so bad on the VRAM, which is good. These textures look great. Look at that. As I said, they just completely match the original... Well, this threw me up a long way. Whoa. Yeah, they completely match the original artistic intention of the game. Oh my god. Anyway, before I die again, let's switch to another level. Let's go to the Nien Experimental Lab. Nice industrial, techie textures. Oh boy. This looks real good. I think the water textures here are the same. Oh, they still look amazing though. Love those water textures. These light textures are really nice as well. Impeccable metal textures. Ooh. Ooh, look at that. Again, nice high resolution skybox. That flag looks great though. I've always loved the effect of that flag. It's so cool. I wonder how that's done. Some sort of vertex manipulation or something. Oof. Nice little level there to show off the... Look at the dirt on these grates and stuff as well. Flawless. Let's check out Frigate on Assault. So again, you've got a very nice floor here. Lovely table. Again, brilliant wood. Some seams in the textures there, but that's probably unavoidable. God damn, that's great. Let's hop out of the water here. This texture I love. Just so high res, so metal. Same with these ones as well. And they even have little extra details on the like shadows. Again, giving that sense of depth, even when you're up close. The other mod, UT99 skins, updates items like these as well. Makes them a little bit more high res. Look at that. With all the anisotropic filtering nice and high. God damn. The upscaling method is so good on this. And even things like this. Look at the dial on that. Look at the detail. God damn. It's a shame I'm going to have to blow it up. Oh, let's check out the textures on the guns. Look at the detail, even there. So good. Whoop! Love those water effects. Let's check out a bit of Condemned to see some textures from the opening part of the game up close. Ooh, look at that. Again, really nice details on the grates. Really, really smooth, nice textures on the concrete walls. Amazing brickwork. Even little areas like this. Look at that. Incredible. Damn, Unreal Tournament was really ahead of its time in more ways than one. Look at the nice textures there. God damn. Graffiti there. The barrel. Look at the detail here. It's crazy. So high res. The game just looks fantastic. Let's check out some Sesmar. Again, absurdly high resolution and giving the illusion of a lot of depth without using parallax mapping or normal mapping or anything like that. Look at these. Man, that looks perfect. That's so good. That looks incredible. There's some textures like these that are a little bit lower resolution. They still look great, but they're a little bit lower resolution. Ooh. Yeah, I remember looking at these ones. I think it's been about 4 years since there's been an update on the HD textures here. But I remember even in the previous version, these textures just looked incredible. Just look how good this looks. And this is just the OpenGL renderer. This isn't like any additional rendering or anything like that. It's just got a lot of anti-aliasing, 4K, and anisotropic filtering. And it just looks incredible. The skybox looks a little bit wonky because it's like a square on this one, but look how cool that moon looks. Look at this. Oh. Oh man, that looks so good. Look at the detail. Oh man, that is so good. Just look at the hieroglyphics. Absolutely incredible. You just can't see the texels unless you're really, really close. Look at that. Oh man, so good. Oh, I love it. It just looks so clean. Really, really clean. And look at that skybox as well. Oh man. So I think we've taken a good look at a lot of the different textures across the different types of level. There's just two more I want to check out. Peak, because that always has amazing textures on it. And then Phobos. Now, this is the level where when you have parallax occlusion mapping on the DirectX 11 renderer, these have really nice parallax occlusion mapping, but it's almost like you don't even need that with this. You can tell they're not quite as bumped up as they are, but in parallax occlusion mapping, but they still look like they have depth to them, and they look incredible. Like actual bricks in the floor. Looks really good, and we've seen these textures elsewhere, and they look incredible. Again, almost a 3D effect to them. The wood texture there, looking incredible. Like I said, there's just some small inconsistencies, because you can tell that these ones are super high res, and then these wall ones aren't anywhere near as high res. But I'm guessing that's still being worked on, so that's fair enough. And you don't really notice it in gameplay. Unless you get really close to the textures, you're not going to notice that sort of disparity. God, these look incredible. These are the ones where, unless you're zooming in with a sniper rifle, you're not going to even see the texels. God, that's amazing. Really funky skybox there. Don't think the textures have been improved on this skybox. I think they're the original. I wonder if there's a way to fix that sort of boxed skybox effect look on older Unreal games. There might not be. Oh. Some slight glitching with the textures there. That's interesting. Literally seems to be these two bits here. There you go, look at that. These two bits here, and this bit here. Wonder why that is. That looks incredible as well. The other thing is that when you get a lot of them, these textures, they don't look like repeating textures. At least not obviously. Maybe if you had a bigger level, you'd notice them. Okay, there you sort of notice it. You sort of see the squares. But even then, it's not that obvious. And for the limitations of this old game, that's really good. Especially these textures. Ooh, just seamless. Alright, let's check out some Phobos. Ooh, damn, already you can see some incredible texture work. Look at that. I can tell it's like future metal, but it's like worn down after loads of use. Whoa! Oh, wow. Oh my god. I would say it has a totally new look to it, but it looks just like a extremely high-res version of Phobos, which is exactly what you want. Even the button on the lift 1 activation thing, it looks incredibly high-res. Look at that. Look how high-res that is. Oh, that looks amazing. Oh, look at that. Oh, the red planet. Man. Oh, these textures. I remember these being good. In 3.5. Let's go down and check them out in the 4.0 beta. Look at that again. Looks like it's been out in space, worn. Look at that. It almost looks like there's a metallic shader effect being applied to it, but obviously it's not. It's just a static texture. Man, that is phenomenal. And it maintains that turn of the millennium sort of feel with the materials and textures. Like, you can imagine these being textures on something in the film Pitch Black or something. Absolutely amazing. Look at that. Oh man. And the HD weapons look so nice alongside it. Ooh. Ooh. These textures are my favourite. Look at that. Like, who needs any shaders or bump mapping when it's just there? Obviously, it's not real time. If you had to change the lighting, it wouldn't change it, but it just looks so convincing in static lighting. It would be cool, though, if they did add some bump maps in, or some normal mapping into this. I know the DirectX 11 renderer adds some normal mapping stuff in. But I don't think it adds bump maps and normal maps over everything. It does add in parallax occlusion mapping. Some of these don't need parallax occlusion mapping, and some would be really good to see with ENBM bump mapping. Ooh, yeah, that is wonderful. Alright, let's go check out the older 3.5 textures from a few years ago. Alrighty, so here we are on the 3 Remastered.5.1 texture pack that was released a few years ago on 469D as well. So let's go through the same maps that we went through with the 4.0 beta and see what differences we can see. So immediately you can kind of tell the floor resolution isn't as good. It's really good still on 351, but not as good as the new one. It looks like it's just really tightened that up. Made it a hell of a lot more high res. Same with the posters here. They look really good, but with the 4.0 beta, they just look super clean. Like the text looks really good. And there's much more fine-grained detail on it as well. It's also the same for these metallic textures here. Yeah, I think these ones are much more higher resolution as well. So yeah, there's definite improvements that have been made to 4.0. And I think one of the main things with 4.0 is that they've made it so that from an unzoomed in perspective, the textures look pretty much flawless. So yeah, it's really well done. Skybox looks pretty much the same as it was on 4.0 beta. But then I don't know if that needed much improvement. So let's check out the next map that we looked at, which was Agony. So again, I've got the HD skins as well enabled here for the weapons, characters, and pickups. And yeah, the ground here looks really good, but again, it doesn't quite look as good to the unzoomed in perspective. And a few rough edges with it. So yeah, I think the 4.0 beta and 4.0 on release will really crank the resolution up on all textures and make them all look flawless. The wood texture as well doesn't look quite as hot as in 4.0 beta, so that's had a big upgrade as well. You can kind of tell by the discoloration. It doesn't quite look like a real thing because of the texture compression, I'm guessing, causing slight color artifacts. Whereas on the newer one, it just looks really flawless. And from this sort of distance here, if we look down, this looks more like the textures in 4.0, but you have to go this distance for them to look like that. So they look really high res there, but as soon as you get close, you start to see they're not as high res. But the ones in 4.0, when you're this close, they look like that. So yeah, the resolution has been upped massively. There's probably been tweaks to the compression as well. Yeah, the wood textures are a big deal. These floor textures here, they don't quite have that 3D looking effect like the 4.0 ones do. The 4.0 textures really have a sense of depth, and it is incredible. But yeah, I think even the stained glass window's been updated as well. Oh, got some different floors here as well. Yeah, look at that. I wonder if that's the same textures used on DM Peak. Let's go to Arcane Temple. So the thing I immediately noticed with Arcane Temple is that the ground textures here, they look really nice here, but in 4.0 they've got extra details, like little extra bits of dirt and rock in between here, and overall it's just higher res. So that's the immediate thing I noticed with these textures. Just extra little details within the cracks in the tile. I can also check these textures as well. I think even these have been cleaned up a little bit since 3.5 as well. And the wood textures around here are a lot cleaner on 4.0. Yeah, look at that. Looking a lot more like textures in a video game rather than what they're actually supposed to look like. And that's where 4.0 really cleans it up. Fairly certain these are all cleaner as well. It's really interesting, because it looks like they've really improved the tech behind the upscaling. Or they're recreating the textures from hand, which is even more impressive. It's again another example of a texture that I think just looks a little bit cleaner on 4.0. The grass textures don't look too much different. Then they probably even have better compression as well on 4.0. So yeah, a lot of improvements, even just looking at it from memory, but we'll see even more when I edit these together. I'm going to try and have the newer textures in the corner while I'm looking at the older textures, And the older textures in the column while I'm looking at the newer textures. So next up is face. Now this is an interesting one. This is where, just from looking from memory, the ground textures here, so much more higher resolution in 4.0. Again, you can see here, you can kind of see the texture elements even while zoomed out, especially when zoomed in. And the walls here is not as good. Again, kind of texture artifacting or discoloration. And the floor here isn't as detailed. Again, I think you've just got more details between the cracks of the tiles, as well as less discoloration. I think these elements are pretty much the same. I think even that's been cleaned up quite a bit. And again, the 3.51 ones look really good, but they lack that 3D looking element. The 4.0 beta almost looks like parallax mapping in some points, as I've mentioned, whereas you don't get that impression with 3.5. They still look distinctly 2D. And these have been vastly improved as well. These ones maybe not so much. But then these look great anyway, so I don't know if these need updating so much. I think that's pretty much the same as it was. But some textures just pretty flawless already. There's the Megadeth artwork. I think that's been updated somewhat. I think again the skybox is basically the same here. Again, that square around that bit of space there, that nebula. You can see the seams. Still looks really good. And then next up we had the Nien Experimental Lab. Now here, the 3.51 textures look really good. Oh, except these. These don't look quite as good. Again, kind of texture artifacting on there. Yeah, wow, they've really upped the resolution on some of these. These look really good. These textures look like almost something from 4.0. Maybe a bit stretching there. But these not quite as good. So yeah, there's been some real improvements over the past 4 years. Again, the water texture there I think basically looks the same. Really high resolution light textures, look at that. I think those are pretty much unchanged in 4.0. Yeah, look at that, a little bit rougher on the textures there. Again, back to these ones. A little bit more noticeable tiling as well on some of these. But I imagine that's going to be inevitable with some textures, so hopefully they find a way to work around that. Yeah, it's just been a real tidy up and enhancement. You can still see the sort of dirt coming from these vents and stuff. I think they're a lot more high resolution in 4.0. Be interesting to see if the water texture has been updated as well. I think that did look a little bit better in 4, but then it might just be my imagination. Yeah, the tiling here and the tiling there, quite obvious. Let's check out some Assault with Frigate. Now one thing you can immediately notice is the floor is not as high resolution. And the walls as well. Again, the wood. Because on 4.0, the majority of textures, you can just look at them, even ducking down, and they still look really flawless. But here, no zoom in, without even ducking down, and you can see the texture elements and the kind of flaws with the compression. Let's have a look at the inside of the boat. I think the floor on the inside of the boat is very similar, like this texture here, because this texture is basically flawless already. And I think even that's been updated a little bit. Oh yeah, look, the text here as well. The text is almost readable in 4.0, but here it's just not. And this chalkboard, damn. Yeah, that's been a real enhancement. The details in here are still pretty good, but not as high resolution. Man, yeah. Just when you think these textures can't get any more awesome, they have. And just looking back at 3.5, something doesn't look quite right with the floor here. But in 4.0, again, looks flawless. So I think there's some inconsistencies with the pattern of these things on the floor. See a couple of little bits where it wobbles a bit. That may have been fixed in 4. Because I was thinking, what sort of improvements could they have made? But now it's like, oh yeah, there's a good few flaws in the 3.5 textures. Let's take a quick look at the water textures. I think they're the same. God, that's a lot of texture repeating there. I don't know if that's been more fixed up in 4.0. I think it may have been. Still love that water texture though. Let's check out some Condemned. This one's important because it's very much the opening video sort of map. Still getting a little bit of micro stuttering, a few frame drops or something with that XOpenGL. I'm not sure why. Gonna have to look into that. But yeah, again, you can just see these posters are much more higher res in 4.0. When we stand here like we did in 4.0, it looks good, but it doesn't look borderline photoreal like it did in 4.0. These textures on the left and on the floor giving it away. The texture on the door, not quite as good. Yeah, you can really see the flaws in the textures here. Yeah, the floor there, definitely. Yeah, look at that. Damn. Brickwork. Oh, wow. Whoa, yeah, okay. Yeah, the floor here, noticeably not as good from memory. Wow. Whew, that's, yeah, that sort of cobble texture has been a real improvement. God damn. They still look really good from quite a distance, but up close, the 3.5 textures, just, yeah, not quite there. So yeah, 4.0 is a real strong update. And I think it's about the same sort of size as well, like 7.5 gigabytes. So I think the compression tech has just gone way up. Let's check out some Sesmar next. This one I'm really interested. Oh yeah, look at that. That doesn't look as good at all. Because I remember the text on this looking incredible with 3.5 back in 2020, and looking even more incredible with 4.0. These sort of textures look very similar in quality, but the floor here, it's had way more detail put into it on 4.0. Like these 3.5 textures are really good, but it seems the 4.0 textures are just mind-blowing. Like, this still looks incredible, but yeah, nowhere near as incredible. This area still looks great, but just looks so much more sharper in 4.0. See, this texture here has much more of the almost parallax looking effect on it, but not quite. Yeah, again, these, when you're up close, don't look quite as good. It's just going from really nice, solid, high-res textures to approaching flawless textures within the confines of the Unreal 1 engine. And this is just from memory, but I'm fairly certain when we put them near each other in editing, they're still going to look way better than this. The skybox still has that nice moon, but I think may even be more high res in 4.0. I'm not sure how much the skyboxes have been touched. Also not sure when 4.0 is getting released. Some of the textures in 4.0 I think are the same as 3.51, so I think they're still working on it in terms of updating all of the textures. And next up is an old classic. It's the Peak Monastery. Ah, yes. Yeah, ooh. Yeah, these, wow. These really don't look as good. The tiling pattern is the same, Wow, even these have been improved on in 4.0 and they look amazing here. Again, they just look like they have more depth in 4.0. There's like barely any depth here. Still some of that blue erroring though, look at that. On certain seams, that may just be a problem with the OpenGL renderer and something strange going on with the textures. Yeah, these have been really improved as well. Let's have a look at the pattern on them. The same one's erroring there, blue one's erroring that were on the 4.0 one. Just this one isn't glitching this time. So it looks like there may be a few bugs either with the OpenGL renderer or 3.51 textures, and there's still a few that need cleaning up in 4.0. The tiling pattern? Yeah, the tiling pattern I'm sure looks cleaner in 4.0. That's interesting, look at that. Ah. Still a damn good tiling pattern though. Look at the way the tiles all go together. There's no seams there. Oh, and these as well, much less detail. Again, texture compression, sort of discoloration, just way more details on 4.0. Skybox, I think the same as 4.0. And then I believe we also checked out Gothic, which again, already has some pretty flawless texturing work on it. But yeah, pretty much the same story, just in 3.51, much less fidelity. Oh yeah, wow. Vastly updated. Floor vastly updated. Much more details. The walls look much more in-depth in 4.0. And I think the red carpet texture looks way better in 4. Wow, look at that. That still looks really good, but I'm fairly certain in 4.0 it looks a lot less artificial. Like a lot less like a texture and a lot more like actual fuzzy carpet. See how Hall of Giants looks with 351. Yeah, those floor textures still look really good. I'm not sure how much they've been upgraded. Oh yeah, look at that. So it seems, yeah, a lot of resolution increase in the textures and a lot of cleanup from making the compression a lot better while maintaining the, wow, original file size. Yeah, even from this distance, which possibly means even the bitmaps have been cleaned up quite a considerable amount. Yeah, again, these textures look pretty amazing, and at first you think maybe they haven't been improved in 4.0, but I think they have. These ones look fairly similar to 4.0 though, although even in 4.0 I think they've been improved. Again, just seemingly every texture you can think of has had some kind of touch up. And then of course the final one we looked at was Phobos. Now these textures I thought hadn't changed a lot moving up to 4.0, but looking at them here, yeah, they have. I'm fairly certain, because now in 4.0 they look like they have a lot more depth to them. And again, yeah, a lot more extra detail. Wow. I think even Mars here looks like it's had a touch up in 4.0. Oh yeah, again, more example of textures just having more compression artifacts on them. Oh yeah. Fairly certain the lift 1 switch has had an upgrade. I'm just going from memory right now, but that looks a lot more textury than 4.0. So I think that's had an upgrade. Again, you can't just tell without even zooming in. Yeah, these ones here as well. Yeah. Damn, yeah, because when I booted this up in 4.0, it really struck me how good it looks. And yeah, here you can just tell it just looks nowhere near as detailed as that. Even these big bolts on the wall have had huge improvements. Again, the fact the file size hasn't changed that much is really impressive. Just those sort of discolorations there. Like a little bit of green, a little bit of red, kind of like lines. Reduces the quality. Alrighty, so after doing all that editing and seeing all those textures directly compared to each other, I can see the improvements with 4.0 are incredible. Like the increased fidelity, the extra details, the fact that the textures look almost 3D, like they have normal mapping and parallax occlusion mapping added to them, is absolutely incredible. The fact that the file size isn't much larger, in fact I think it's even a bit smaller than 3.51, is some sort of technological achievement. Again, I'm not sure quite how that was done, but it's really amazing. I didn't think the 3.51 textures could be improved upon, but clearly they can be, and I'm very excited to see 4.0 get released after seeing it in action. So go check out the UnrealHD website in the description, and also thank you to AHaigh01 for sending me the 4.0 beta to look at early. It's really amazing work, and combined with the UnrealHD textures, we're heading towards a kind of community remaster in a way of Unreal Tournament, which is just incredible. More links in the description to Old Unreal, where you can grab the latest patches and even installers for the full games of Unreal and Unreal Tournament, because they have now officially been approved to be on the Internet Archive. Epic approved that the other week. You can see a link in the description to one of my previous videos on that. Leave a like, let me know what you think in the comments. Subscribe, there's always new videos coming up on video games in general, Unreal Tournament and technology videos. Ring the little bell, really helps the channel. Thanks for watching, I hope everyone's staying safe, and I will see you in the next video.
Useless.